Hello YouTube, this is part 5, I believe, losing track here, of my mobile on the trailer GMRS Two-way radio repeater build. We've been plucking along here. We got the rack mounted, as you can see. I did add, which I don't know, I added a PVC pipe to put the coax through. Yeah, I know they could stand on the trailer and still reach it, but let's hope they don't do that. This at least keeps from people from walking by and pulling on the coax. That goes underneath, down there. I did try the turnbuckles, and the turnbuckles that I bought did not have locking nuts on them. And I didn't want to run back to the store to do it. So I said, screw it. Without the locking nuts, it literally will unscrew itself with the wind blowing, and the turnbuckles will unscrew. So I decided not to monkey with that. Maybe in the future I'll add them, but I didn't want to run to the hardware, back to town to the hardware store. So we took the turnbuckles off. The rack is bolted down. This metal cover will slide over the rack. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. So we're definitely getting there. Like I say, we got the rack mounted. Now it's a matter of making the wires nice and neat, and I got to roll up the coax cable so it's not in the way when you slide the cover on. So we got to do that. So let's tight up some other wires, and then we can go ahead and do a test. And I'll put the metal cover on for the test, obviously, just like it would be if I take this out to a particular location. I want to represent it exactly the way it would be. I do got to mount the battery back in there, but when I do the test, it will be with the stock repeater with the battery, no power. This does have a capability of being plugged in. There's the cord for it. So that's what the plan is. And then I got my inverter, then the power supply. If you use AC, this power supply can power the amplifier, which is down there. Might be hard to see. Got the inverter for the laptop, and the repeater itself is mounted down there. The battery will sit there. Like I say, you may not be able to see that with the sun and stuff, but anywho, that's how we're gonna do it. And sometimes I get these ideas and I get a little carried away, I guess, sometimes. But it's going to work good. And then the nice thing about having this pipe, it's not a bad idea to do it anyways, because this will prevent any critters from chewing on the wire. And I live out in the country-ish, so don't ask me how I know that animals will chew on wire. So that will kind of prevent that if they don't chew on my coax cable. So which is good news. So that will do that. Like I said, the pipe ain't real tall, but it's enough for keep people from just walking by and pulling on it or trying to cut it. Like I said, they could stand on the trailer and probably reach it if they stretch real high enough. Or for that matter, they could even cut my string guide wires. They could cut those. A guy can use metal ones, but if you do that, you got to use insulators at so many feet to break up the length of the guide wire, or the guide wire could act as an antenna. I don't know if you remember back in the CB days, if you had a tower and you want to put guide wires on it, there's a calculation on how many feet you had to put an insulator so that the guide wire did not act like an antenna. I don't know the formula off the top of my head. I'm going to assume that probably applies with GMRS radio. You don't want to use one long steel cable. You got to break it up and put insulators. I didn't want to do that for this because I don't want to spend a ton of money on this. So I just used paracord. It can handle 100 pounds. This clip can handle 100 pounds. So that's going to be good enough. That's what this is. Just paracord. I think I bought it at Walmart, 50 feet for $5 or something. I know people are going to ask, well, how much do you have involved in this? Well, A lot of the stuff I already had. The trailer, obviously, I already had. I did have to, the metal, I had the metal. I had the wood, some of these little chunks of 2x4 I had here. I had to buy some bolts, so that was like $9. A couple elbows, you know, some more bolts. So the rope, I had to buy the rope, the little clip. So I had to buy that. I'm gonna guess maybe $30-40 just in hardware. The rack, again, the rack didn't really cost me anything to build. I'm trying to think. I don't think. Oh, I had to buy a couple. I had to buy some bolts for the bolt to shelves. That was like $10. All the other metal on the rack I already had, so that wasn't an issue. So yeah, that's probably what I got in here. The painter's pole, I bought that a long time ago. It's an extendable one that you put a paint roller on. I don't remember what that cost. I bought that 5-6 years ago. I don't know, $40 maybe or whatever it was. PVC pipe, I already had the pieces laying around from another project. So, I did have to buy the little clamps. They were like $3 for a bag of 5 or something. So I don't know, maybe $40-50, including bolts for the rack. Like I said, most of it's bolts, the rope, the clip, everything else I pretty much had. So not a lot. I mean, it's not bad. And then I can unbolt all this and use my trailer. So that was the whole point of all this. Everything can come out. There's 4 bolts that hold the rack in there, so that rack ain't going nowhere. Then I'll run a chain. Through underneath the rack, through the rack, around the antenna holder. I'll run a chain and a padlock, so people want to try to unbolt the rack or something, they'll have to cut the lock off. Yeah. Then that metal box will slide on, and then there'll be padlocks on each side that it will lock onto, so you can't lift it off. It should be okay. I mean, I hope no one monkeys with it. We'll put a trailer lock on it, so we'll lock the trailer so you can't hook it to a hitch. We'll do that when we park it. Yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at. Like I say, it's coming along. I just got to tidy up a little bit. Probably next week, I'll probably do radio checks. Make sure things working okay. Running off the 12-volt battery. What I'll do too is I'm going to plug in so the battery don't go dead sitting there. I got one of those battery maintainers. It's like a trickle charger. It detects if the battery starts going low, it turns the charger on. So I'll plug that into the battery, and that'll just sit here for now so that I don't have to worry about the battery getting dead. And then when the time comes, I'll obviously unplug it, and then we'll go up to the location. So I'll hook that up. It's probably going to be a couple weeks before I go up to the bluff and try this, depending on the weather. So, but in the meantime, I'll have that battery maintainer on that battery, so the battery don't go dead and ruin it. I will probably, when I do the test as a stock repeater, I will also have the inverter running, like in the laptop will be plugged in. I want to represent like it would be on the bluff. Laptop on, stock repeater, 5 watts. Yeah, so that's the plan. So any questions or comments, please post down below. Please subscribe, and thank you.